What makes us stand out? Hello, we would like to tell you a story that happened here in Poland, a Central European country with a rich history. In 2006, a merger between several energy companies resulted in the establishment of Tauron Group. Currently, the group is one of the largest business entities in Poland, 8th in terms of revenue and the 3rd biggest energy group in the country. We are Poland's largest energy distributor, providing power to around 5.5 million customers. Tauron's main activities focus on the generation, distribution and supply of electricity and heat, as well as on coal mining. The group consists of 30 subsidiaries and employs around 25,000 people. Our PMO is located in the group's main branch, Tauron Polska Energia S.A. in Katowice. Every day we are guided by the following values: partnership, development, and boldness. These principles are what helps us grow and develop as a company, while maintaining the utmost respect for our employees, customers, and the environment. We support each other, we take care of our relationships with our clients, and we look after the environment. We are innovative, always looking for new, better solutions. We set trends and create changes. We like challenges. We openly talk about problems and ideas, even the boldest ones. We face the challenges of today's changing markets and environments with commitment and passion. Our mission is, we deliver state-of-the-art solutions with passion and commitment to produce energy in a constantly changing world. Our strength lies in our value chain. It is what our very foundations are based on. Portfolio of investment projects. Tauron is present in all basic segments of the energy market. This way we are able to maintain full control over energy generation and distribution processes. The group's structure corresponds with that of energy chain links, which means that we have different subsidiaries that specialize in different areas, such as mining raw materials, generating energy and heat, distribution, sales, and customer services. Over the past decade, we've become a key player in the energy industry and an important link in Poland's energy security chain. Moreover, we're constantly developing. Our investment portfolio for the upcoming years foresees $3.6 billion in investments and the modernization of our companies. Projects range from smaller $1.3 million undertakings to programs for $1.5 billion. Currently, we're involved in giant investment projects, such as the construction of 2 new power plants in Jaworzno and Stalowa Wola. We're also preparing for the construction of photovoltaic and wind farms, and are modernizing our networks and the electrical power infrastructure used for distribution. In our portfolio, you can find modern eco-renewable sources of energy as well as conventional ones. We have wind farms, hydropower plants, and strongly support and actively develop solar energy solutions. We're not afraid of change and remain open to new technologies, not just in the energy sector. We're looking for new solutions and working on improving those that already exist. We change as the times we live in do. Management is key to keeping up with the constantly changing world. In 2018, we won the prestigious Best PMO Award at the IPMA PMO Awards 2018 contest. And now we're the first company to represent Poland at the PMO Global Awards contest. In a few moments, we're going to explain how we managed to achieve all of this. The PMO development phases. Project management has been a vital element of corporate governance at Tauron Group for many years. The beginnings of our project management system date back to 2008-2009, when our very first corporate strategy was developed together with a plan for its implementation. Over 60 strategic projects have been defined within the frameworks of this plan. It required taking steps aimed at organizing and structuring our approach to the development, execution, and monitoring of the projects we undertake. We created a map of strategic projects, approved first document templates, project charters, status of work reports, and defined general principles of task execution and reporting. Due to the size and complexity of the projects we're involved in, we put together and implemented a methodology based on PRINCE2 for managing all Tauron Group projects. The principles of selecting projects for portfolio and their initiation process were also defined at that time. As we implemented the methodology and first project and report document templates, we began gathering information on ongoing projects. The majority of them were related to restructuring Tauron Group, centralizing various functions, and also opening and shutting down different subsidiaries. We decided to implement the Microsoft Enterprise Project Management 2007 (EPM 2007) Project Portfolio Management System, which was used to report on strategic projects on a monthly basis. A large competence development program was also implemented. Over 300 people from the entire group underwent tuition on Prince2 Foundation, Prince2 Practitioner, and other standards and tools for project managers and project board members. We called this stage of our development the Center of Knowledge, because back then we were all learning about project management and we were striving to gain as much knowledge about our projects as possible. After a few years of running PMO, we discovered that our expectations in terms of information about ongoing projects go far beyond the general approach offered at the time. Moreover, standards at the time were also perceived as too bureaucratic, which resulted in project execution not being carried out in accordance with our internal methodology. Between the years 2012 and 2013, we took our first attempts at adapting the then-existing project management environment to the needs of its users, the expectations of those on the receiving end, and the scale of Tauron Group and the industry itself. Using the PMO's own resources, we implemented 2 projects aimed at changing the perception of our project management methods from too bureaucratic to efficient project management. We updated the EPM system to its 2010 version and implemented schedule standards in MS Project, updated management principles based on P3O, Portfolio, Program, Project Office, made methodology easier and appropriately scaled by adjusting it to the size and complexity of our projects, and also implemented program management. As we introduced detailed schedules for strategic projects, we changed our approach to project supervision too, from a portfolio-centered approach to a more individual one, based on detailed information on schedule progress and budgets that comes directly from project managers. We trained many managers and project teams, and also reviewed the management standards of our strategic projects. The results of these reviews were what sparked our desire to improve management quality. We call this stage of our PMO development the Center of Quality and Improvement, because this was the moment in which we paid special attention to how we managed individual projects and to improving our group-wide project management methodology. After a few years of having the PMO running in accordance with these standards, we once again began to notice several signs of problems in our project management environment, where we were 3 years ago. Theoretically speaking, the entire project management environment was functioning correctly. We had universal management methodology that applied to all projects. We had fixed decision paths, project and corporate. We had a unified project reporting system, which used the EPM system and MS project schedules. We monitored progress and budget statuses for strategic projects. We carried out a company-wide training program on our implemented project management methodology. Our PMO was acting as a center of excellence through which we spread best practices, lessons learned, templates, and so on, all of it online. However, what we observed at the turn of 2015 and 2016 changed our perspective. It turned out that we made many ineffective investments. We saw shortcomings in project supervision that led to real-world negligence. Many changes were being made at the execution stage for which there was no actual alternative. The decision-making process was unclear, and the responsibility for decisions was dispersed. Investment projects were executed without considering their impact on the group's production assets. Information about projects was of a poor quality. We were observing a growing dissonance between project management at our subsidiaries and the methodology theories which we had accepted. There wasn't a central department for project information, with different organizational units taking on different roles in monitoring our projects. Where we are now. At the turn of 2015-2016, certain changes occurred that made the PMO what it is today. The most financially advanced projects in the group's history entered their execution phases. A new strategy and a new business model based on process management was being developed. This was also the moment in which we started working on a new approach to project management. We decided to divide the group's project environment into 3 different areas: investment projects, reorganization and IT projects, and research and development. An executive director of investment projects was put in charge of the strategic projects department and was tasked with restructuring the PMO's role in terms of Tauron Group's strategic projects. We completely rebuilt our investment project management process. We developed our own project management methodology based primarily on the expectations of our stakeholders, our own experiences, but also on the world's leading project management standards: PMI, PMBOK, IPMA, NCB, Prince2. By reorganizing Tauron's structure and processes, we managed to bring investment projects and managing the group's production assets together. We developed tools that gave us business case control, from initial development phases to project completion. We introduced unambiguous decision-making and responsibility processes for our projects. We put a lot more emphasis on projects' development stages, where an interdisciplinary team of project managers, lawyers, economists, engineers, environmental specialists, etc., works on proper project preparation. The investment process as a whole is coordinated in one place in our organization, and our PMO is a source of information for all our stakeholders. The aim of the transformation. Our transformation goals can be summarized as the right projects managed the right way in order to obtain the right effects. This development stage was called comprehensive management of the investment strategy, because currently, the PMO is in charge of all the processes involved in a project, from preparing investment strategy through coordination of the investment portfolio, preparing strategic investment projects for execution, overseeing their execution, supporting project managers, and developing the project management environment in Tauron Group. PMO structure and team. Entering the next phase of our PMO's development required making significant changes to our PMO's organizational structure. Directly supervised by the Vice President of Asset Management and Development, Tauron Group's Asset Management and Development Division is responsible for all investment projects and is managed by the Executive Director of Investment Projects. This structure promotes the efficient exchange of information on planned and ongoing projects, as well as the proper management of the company's investment portfolio, considering that asset management and research, development and innovation are also part of the same division. The current PMO structure includes 6 teams, which are responsible for various PMO services and complement each other to better meet the company's needs and expectations. The Project Support Team establishes project management guidelines for the entire group, checks whether various projects are managed according to our pre-accepted standards, and constantly supports project managers in developing and executing projects. The Project Development Team prepares projects and investment programs for execution, coordinates the development and updating of Tauron Group's investment project portfolio and investment strategy, and also creates business models, project plans, and drafts project contracts. The Project Supervision and Execution Team controls and manages the execution of investment projects and programs. It plays an active role in the work of both the project and program teams and is responsible for assessing the progress and deviations in a project's execution, as well as reporting on specific management needs. The Jaworzno 910 MW Project Supervision and Execution Team is responsible for supervising Tauron Group's biggest ongoing project, the construction of our new 910 MW power plant. This team is tasked with supervising project execution, predicting and countering potential threats, as well as controlling and parameterizing any deviations from the execution plan. The Project Analysis and Review Team is in charge of evaluating projects and programs, optimizing our investment portfolio from financial and economic point of view on a group-wide level. Moreover, the team is responsible for analyzing sources and project funding structures, and assessing the effectiveness of strategic investment projects and programs within Tauron Group. The New Businesses Development Team supports and leads the execution of new business projects, sets rules and standards for planning, executing and supervising these projects and programs, and coordinates Tauron Group's work on building our competitive advantage. The number of people employed at our PMO increased from 7 to 28. Before transforming our current PMO, we arrived at the conclusion that what our team needs is specialized industry expertise, project management competencies, leadership skills, and business and strategy experience. That is why our team doesn't just comprise of engineers and project managers, but also economists, strategy and business analysts, market analysts, and PMO experts. All PMO employees have received training in project management methodologies, while many of them hold PMP, IPMAD, or Prince2 practitioner certificates. We take great care in ensuring that their competencies are regularly updated by organizing training courses and workshops for our entire team, most recently on project planning tools and agile methodologies such as Agile PM and Prince2 Agile Practitioner. We have managed to create a tight-knit interdisciplinary PMO team composed of people with vast and varying knowledge and experience, who complement each other in achieving their common goal. Interfaces. PMO is a unique office, also called the Chaos Management Office. Why chaos? Because they're there to ensure the coordination between many different stakeholders, the project teams, the executive board, and various areas of the company, including strategy, controlling, finance, business analysis, HR, risk, R&D, etc. We are the link between all the parts of our organization that are involved in the development and execution of a project. We regularly update and report information on projects in a way that is tailored to the needs of each recipient, the executive board, the supervisory board, investors. We're always ready to answer even the most difficult questions regarding a project. We're also responsible for presenting all collected information at various conferences, meetings, and forums, from internal meetings to international events. Our goal is to strengthen the cooperation between different areas and continuously improve our competences. Distribution of responsibility in investment projects. We will now take a closer look at the specificity of our organization and the division of responsibility for projects. As a corporate center, Tauron Group is responsible for taking a comprehensive look at all projects and programs executed by the company to ensure they comply with Tauron's investment strategy. We coordinate and supervise all activities at a subsidiary level and assign different priority levels to each. We adopt a holistic approach, taking into account what benefits the entire group. We make decisions based on environmental conditions, global trends, and constantly changing laws and regulations. We coordinate the introduction of changes aimed at complying with external requirements. Based on our experience, we develop processes and standards that are then employed across the entire group. An equally essential part in this process is played by our subsidiaries, who are responsible for carrying out various activities that constitute an entire project or program. From the very beginning, they take part in a project's execution, starting with the development phase, during which various analyses and feasibility studies are designed and carried out, and funding is obtained. These subsidiaries also select a project's main contractors and ensure the smooth cooperation between companies working on various tasks within a project. Moreover, they create investment plans for reconstruction and rebuilding of the company's assets, since they have the best knowledge as to the state of our infrastructure and any requirements for renovation or modernization. Close cooperation between the corporate center and our subsidiaries allows for the effective and efficient completion of any assigned tasks and swift reactions to any environmental changes. The PMO coordinates, supports, and furthers this cooperation. Project structure. As the PMO, we take an active part in every stage of a project, from the initial concept through all phases to its completion. We participate in a project's planning and development. Our office is where vision usually collides with reality, and it is our job to determine what is possible and what isn't. Each project is different and requires taking on an individual approach. When an initial idea for a project is born, a dedicated temporary team is created within the organizational structure and is tasked with executing the investment. The highest authorities in any given project are its sponsor and the project board, both of which are responsible for the project on behalf of the subsidiary. A project manager's task is to organize all the teams involved in a project and coordinate their work. To make this task a little easier, they have project teams and a project office at their disposal. Project teams are groups of specialists with broad technical expertise. They serve as a source of comprehensive knowledge that is crucial in executing a project as best as possible. These are employees from the front lines, directly delegated to complete specific tasks that constitute different phases of the project. The project office, on the other hand, provides the project manager with help in managing records, as well as legal support, work supervision, consulting, controlling, and organizing meetings. The right competencies and effective communication are vital for the effective functioning of this entire corporate structure. At a corporate level, all strategic decisions are divided between the Investment Committee and Tauron Group's board, both of which are supported by the PMO. The Investment Committee is composed of representatives from investment projects, asset management, strategy, finance, controlling, and corporate management. Each of these divisions is responsible for issuing an opinion in their area of expertise, based on which the PMO makes a suitable recommendation. The PMO's role is to organize and coordinate the work and information exchange between the board, the committee, and subsidiaries running the project. When it comes to the group's most crucial projects, PMO members can be included in the project boards or play an important role in overseeing the work, taking part in project activities and conferences, accepting products, etc. The right projects. One of the PMO's objectives is to choose the right projects to be executed. In order to achieve this goal, a project goes through a long process that starts with an idea for a given strategy and ends with being granted permission to execute a specific variant. The first project ideas usually appear in relation to certain strategic goals, i.e. Tauron Group's strategy, detailed strategies for investments, asset management, or research and development. In the next phase, an idea for a project is assessed in terms of its technical feasibility and financial capacity. A specific project intended to be launched within the next 4 years must be included in the long-term investment plan of a given subsidiary, and after verifying its business justification, added to Tauron Group's investment portfolio. After obtaining approval at a portfolio level, all projects undergo a planning phase which includes fine-tuning a project's management plan, verifying business options, and preparing a recommendation for commencing with its execution. An interdisciplinary team made up of the PM, lawyers, analysts, engineers, experts on environmental protection, representatives of the PMO, purchasing, risk assessment, and, if a project requires it, other selected employees, is responsible for planning this. This approach ensures the efficient exchange of information, improves communication, and guarantees that all interested parties have agreed upon the arrived solutions. If the execution plan is deemed economically and technically justified and is in line with the direction for development adopted by the company, then the next stage for the project is a final investment decision. Our PMO is present at every level of the planning process in order to be able to pursue the goal of implementing the right projects. As the PMO, we provide substantial input into Tauron Group's strategy, manage its investment portfolio, coordinate project planning, and prepare recommendations for project's execution. Investment strategy. The investment strategy is what gives the PMO influence over Tauron Group's entire investment policy. It is thanks to this strategy that our PMO achieves a competitive advantage over other project management systems on the market. The first investment strategy developed by our PMO in 2017 was based on a study of technological and market trends, an analysis of productive assets, regulatory changes in Poland's energy industry, and possibilities for obtaining funding. The investment strategy's main aim is to refine the group's strategy for investments and setting the directions for spending investment capital. As a result of introducing this strategy, Tauron Group's subsidiaries prepared a series of investments based on a set of guidelines which, after taking into account the group's financial capacity after 2020, were added to the portfolio of profitable projects, which includes new investments ready to be launched in the upcoming years. Our strategy, which is centered around the following 3 pillars: efficient conventional assets, a stable base of regulated businesses, our relationship with customers as a platform for long-term growth, presents various directions for the company's development that match the group's vision for the future, including making investments in photovoltaics, electromobility, construction of large-scale energy storage facilities, prosumer energy, etc. Our investment strategy is designed to offer a broad range of investment options for various market development scenarios, as well as adequate business perspectives for our development. Business perspective on every decision level. As the PMO, we actively participate in the entire investment process, providing a business perspective at every decision level. We examine given projects not only from a technical feasibility point of view, but also in terms of their benefits and value that a project may bring to our organization. Due to the diversity of our project portfolio, which includes investments whose worth ranges from several million to over $1 billion, and in order to better manage our key investments, our entire portfolio was divided into classes. Depending on their complexity and investment costs, projects are divided into 4 classes: A, B, C, D. Moreover, we also distinguish distribution projects depending on regulatory restrictions. All classes differ in terms of PMO supervision which they are subjected to, as well as reporting obligations and decision-making processes. Class A projects, i.e. the biggest and most important investments, are personally overseen by selected PMO employees who may even participate in the project board. Key decisions are made by the investment committee and Tauron Group's board. Monthly reports by the project manager include detailed information on the implementation of schedules, budgets, risks, deviations, signed contracts, etc. On the other hand, we have Class D projects which require only general reporting and quarterly monitoring. In their case, the subsidiary is responsible for the decision-making process. To ensure that projects are managed with the right quality level and that decisions are made at the right times, we have introduced a special project process tailored to our projects and the organization's expectations. It consists of 3 main phases: development, execution, and follow-up. Moreover, our experience has allowed us to recognize how crucial the development phase is, which is why we decided to divide it into 2 processes: studies and analysis for investment projects, and planning. At the studies and analysis stage, the business justification for a project is assessed and a recommendation for the execution of a specific variant of the project is obtained. During the planning stage, which is essential for every strategic project, we build a complex approach to the execution of a project, its viability, the business benefits that will stem from it, and its structure. The PMO appoints a project planning team for each project, which is responsible for overseeing project work and coordinating the drafting of documentation and the preparation of analyses required at this stage. All the work carried out as part of this process provides the project team with detailed information concerning the scope and organization of a project, for example using product breakdown structure or work breakdown structure. The project's organizational structure, which requires adapting roles and responsibilities to its specifics and conditions. A detailed business plan, including an assessment of the project's viability as well as sensitivity and scenario analyses. The exact project approach, including the details of various parties' involvement in selecting contractors. A detailed risk analysis. A detailed project execution schedule. Information on reserves and tolerances in the project, as well as a communications plan. Drafts of trade and investment agreements. After completing the planning stage and obtaining permission to continue, a project enters the execution phase, which consists of 3 processes: selection of main contractors, execution and supervision, and closing. The selection of main contractors takes place only in projects that are of particular importance to Tauron Group and involve using an engineering, procurement, and construction formula. The objective of this process is to provide additional supervision and PMO coordination during tendering procedures. The execution and supervision process involves all the work necessary to create a project's products. However, it doesn't focus on an investment's technical aspects, but rather on issues such as work supervision, reporting, and emergency procedures. This process includes the obligation to regularly report on an investment's progress using the Enterprise Project Management System, EPM, and is finished when the investment is completed or a decision to end the project prematurely has been made. The closing process includes all activities aimed at settling the project, closing implementation agreements, summarizing project execution, and gathering experience and solution for the project's structures. A particular emphasis is placed on verifying and/or completing a benefits review plan, as well as activities that will continue even after the project is closed. All of the above-mentioned information is included in a final project report. The benefits realization process was designed to monitor the realization of the project's effects and planned benefits, and to implement potential corrective measures. All of the above-mentioned processes provide a comprehensive view of the execution of a single investment: the initial idea, preliminary analyses, detailed planning, execution and reporting, closing and benefits realization. Following this process step by step ensures that a project is completed the right way and allows to achieve high-quality project management at every stage. Mixing waterfall and agile. Regardless of the project process, we constantly search for inspiration to improve our own standards of project management. Being agile is one of them. Of course, it's hard to imagine that, for example, a power plant or overhead power line could be created in Scrum. However, using agile elements in our day-to-day operations is already possible. In the end, what counts is the agile spirit, a flexible approach, contact with the customer or user, and a never-ending search for better solutions. These are the elements we've introduced into our waterfall process. For example, the development phase. To put it simply, every project starts with a vision, which is associated with either a project idea or a problem to solve. Following the idea, we put together an agile team that is composed of specialists from various fields, both from the client's or user's side and corporate center representatives, which includes the PMO. Together we work on initial pre-feasibility studies and analyses. Then we check every variant in terms of its technical feasibility, financial viability, and we confront it with the organization's resource inventory. Even after everything's set, we still work on the project's final scope as a team, keeping in mind that we should minimize costs and maximize profit wherever possible. The final scope of a project is therefore the result of numerous analyses and a lot of work put in by an interdisciplinary team. At this point, the only thing left is to make a decision whether to execute a project or not. So, our innovative approach is to consciously implement agile ways of working into our waterfall process with defined gateways. Every strategic project has its multifunctional, active, interdisciplinary agile project team. We respond quickly to challenges and take actions at every level of management. Project execution is based on predictions, risk analysis, and experience. The approach to definition of a project's scope, depending on business needs, technology capabilities, company potential, etc., provides us with several options to analyze.
I believe you can tell whether a PMO is well-performing by the benefits it brings to the organization. By organization, I mean all levels from the executive board to project teams, which in our case are scattered across the many subsidiaries of Tauron Group. With the changes we have carried out in the last few years, our PMO has now become a key business function in the group. We have one place within the Tauron Group where we create investment strategy, manage the investment portfolio, coordinate the project development phase, and then supervise the execution phase until project completion. With this approach, the Tauron Executive Board can be positive that the investments go in line with the corporate strategy and that the funds are used optimally. The aim of all our activities is to deliver target business benefits across individual projects, which leads to a growth in the groups of economical value. Also, it should be noted that our activities ensure that projects are well planned, developed, and then executed in a predictable way, risks are monitored on a daily basis, and corrective measures are implemented well in advance. The most important for subsidiary project teams are certainly clear guidelines for development, which we provide by delivering the investment strategy, directions, and close cooperation. In a consequence, they do not waste resources on ideas that do not comply with the group's plans. Through portfolio coordination, every project included in the portfolio has a secured source of financing. Any changes at the portfolio level are analyzed in terms of their impact on all relevant projects. While coordinating the project development phase, the project manager and their team receive ongoing support in many aspects, for example, the preparation of a WBS and a schedule, profitability analysis, contract drafts, and communications strategy. At this stage, we offer the project manager numerous internal training courses and workshops on a range of subjects, including product planning, risk and stakeholder expectations management, and reporting in our EPM system. During the execution phase, we work closely with the project manager and contractors to help them deliver the project goals. We can easier identify and mitigate risks, taking advantage of our broader perspective on the project. Having a good knowledge of the challenges involved in the project execution, we are able to predict and counter certain threats in advance. To conclude, we designed the whole Tauron project management environment to achieve one fundamental goal, which is to bring business value added to the group by doing the right projects the right way. This means selecting suitable projects for the portfolio and then developing them and delivering project goals and products successfully.
Every PMO is an office that provides various services within an organization. Depending on the company's maturity, those services may focus on developing the project management methodology, document templates, IT system administration, task monitoring, etc. At Tauron, our PMO goes far beyond the standard range of PMO services. All our services can be divided into 4 main groups, centered around strategy, project delivery, project standards, and people and competences. This distribution of services was designed to meet the expectations of our stakeholders. It's our original approach, developed in partnership with representatives of our subsidiaries, project managers, sponsors, and line managers at the PMO reorganization stage. As mentioned earlier, our strategic operations are based on developing an investment strategy and investment portfolio management. In addition, we play an important role in the investment committee. On the one hand, our director is a committee member. On the other hand, we also serve as the committee's back office, organizing meetings, preparing records, and decisions or drafting expert opinions. Our main role in ongoing projects is to supervise and monitor them, in particular by offering regular feedback on risks. Projects in development are coordinated by us in partnership with the project manager or conducted by us independently. With business analysts employed at our PMO, we also have the competence to draft economic or market analysis for new ideas. As far as project standards are concerned, we develop internal processes, procedures, and templates necessary to standardize the approach to project across the large and complex organization that is Tauron Group. We also serve as an information center, having access to all project data. We administer the IT system for project management and monitoring. As we care about people and their competences, we offer support to project teams at each project stage. We conduct in-house training courses and workshops. 2 years ago, we implemented and have since maintained a dedicated bonus system for project teams based on an annual review cycle and financial rewards.
Members of our PMO are involved in a great variety of initiatives in various roles and at various stages. Currently, our biggest ongoing project is the construction of a state-of-the-art 910 megawatts power plant to replace old plants. This 5 years project is scheduled to be completed by the end of this year, and its budget is $1.6 billion. We have assigned a special team from our PMO responsible for this project only. This PMO team keeps track of the progress on this project and provides the project team with constant support and up-to-date information on the construction process and risks. Another example of our projects is the construction of photovoltaic farms. This is a part of Tauron transformation and building a green projects portfolio. In fact, this is one of the largest PV projects in this part of Europe, with an estimated budget of $60 to $120 million. The project was initially developed by our PMO. Later on, the project was transferred to Tauron subsidiary to continue project development in particular locations. Know-how gained through the planning and execution of other projects is essential in an effective and successful transition from the planning to delivery phase and successful completion of a project. A different kind of projects are electric power distribution projects, which are a major challenge as well as an example of the effectiveness of our PMO. Power distribution are a key part of our group's operations and require continuous investments in grid and network upgrades and expansion. The total annual budget for all investments in this field is approximately $500 million, their number reaching up to 80,000 a year. The most important and capital-intensive of them are implemented as projects and supervised by our PMO. Our responsibility is also to monitor the execution of the entire power distribution investment portfolio, which requires particular flexibility due to rapidly changing conditions for project delivery. By implementing a wide range of projects, Tauron Group gains great experience of building effective management structures and builds up a knowledge base in program and project delivery, from standard investment to mega projects.
Due to the nature of projects in the investment portfolio, i.e. long duration, high capital expenditure, complexity and a large number of internal and external stakeholders, a smooth circulation of knowledge, lessons learned and best practice within the organization is particularly important to us. In order to ensure efficient knowledge management, we have created a dedicated system including a wide range of activities that enable effective acquisition, maintenance and use of knowledge to deliver goals across projects, our PMO and the entire organization. A key role in this system is played by our stakeholders, both the internal ones, for example project managers, project teams and sponsors, and the entities and organizations outside Tauron Group. We have implemented a knowledge management environment based on the active use of the following components. A lessons learned management system composed of support center, an intranet knowledge base on the project management available to all employees and including both full set of internal processes, regulations, templates and tools of the investment project area, as well as materials regarding other project management methodologies and standards. Lessons learned database, an intranet base available to all project teams and intended for sharing lessons learned from projects implemented by the group. Project management days, an annual internal conference organized by the PMO whose main goal is to share project experience and integrate the project managers community. Knowledge management team, an internal team of experts appointed in 2017 and meeting regularly to identify needs and produce ideas for changes in the approach to project management in Tauron Group. A system supporting development of project management competencies composed of Project Management Academy, a dedicated cyclical competence development program for current project managers and promising new employees with potential to become project managers in the near future. Workshops on training courses for project teams conducted by in-house PMO trainers. External training courses for project teams delivered by industry experts in response to requests received by the PMO. Disseminating information on Tauron Group's approach to project management, best practices, and PMO achievements in that regard through the publication of posts and articles on Tauron Group's intranet, in Tauron Group's magazines and newsletters, in Polish trade magazines. Presenting Tauron Group's approach to project management and the PMO experiences in the area of implementing best practices and building a community of employees committed to project management at national and international conferences on project management and the energy industry, series of meetings on project management development organized by the Polish government administration, regular meetings of the PMO group that comprises representatives of PMO from several dozen companies operating on the Polish market and implementing projects from various industries. Active partnership with project management organizations such as the Project Management Institute or the International Project Management Association. Exchange of knowledge and experience as part of individual reference meetings with PMOs representing other organizations from the energy industry or related industries, as well as external experts in the field of project management. Comprehensive and proactive use of all these components not only ensures efficient and effective knowledge management, but also helps develop a culture of commitment, partnership, and openness in sharing knowledge and experience.
Continuous improvement. Projects bring change, and stakeholders' expectations lie at the heart of every change. Therefore, we use every opportunity we can to obtain feedback from our stakeholders, project managers, project teams, sponsors, the board, on the functioning of our PMO and our processes, regulations, and tools. We strive to not only be a source of information about projects for our stakeholders, but also a medium that introduces changes that will make project management easier. We have implemented a structured approach to identifying, analyzing, and implementing improvements to our process, procedures, and tools. We wanted this process to be effective and easy to understand, so we decided on the following elements. We regularly review process documentation and regulations, so as to identify possible improvements to increase usability and efficiency. We consult processes and regulations with process management teams, so we can identify possible changes in contact points with other business processes. We conduct annual surveys with selected stakeholders, i.e., project managers, knowledge management teams, directors of investments, risk management departments, etc., so we can obtain feedback about the real-world implementation of our processes, their usability, completeness, and possibilities for optimization. Any identified need for change is registered in a dedicated Register of Changes, which is regularly reviewed in order to decide whether a change is vital, as well as when and how it should be introduced. Any planned change is widely announced so that everybody involved in a process is aware of both its purpose and its cause. The means used to announce a change depend on its scope and complexity. For example, representatives of Tauron Group subsidiaries were important stakeholders during the latest transformation of our PMO. They were involved in the implementation phase of the new business model and gave their thoughts on roles and functions of different business areas. They then expressed their opinions on provided solutions. We announced the implementation of a new approach to project management during a roadshow organized specially for this occasion. New businesses. We constantly discover new lands in our search for better solutions that will allow us to keep up pace with the ever-changing reality of the markets around us. We're open to new technologies, observe global trends, and carefully choose new businesses to get involved with. As a large group, we have a vast capital of knowledge, products, competencies, and customers. These make up a solid foundation that lets us look for solutions outside our core business. For this purpose, we have created a special team within our PMO which is responsible for new businesses that may not always seem to be related to our main object of interest. This way we can build up our advantage over the competition and always stay one step ahead. Currently, we're focused on the following new areas of activity: e-mobility programs, charging stations, car sharing, alternative types of e-mobility, fiber optic networks, energy efficiency. We're also looking for new solutions in energy, so our team is also working on coal gasification, distributed cogeneration, energy for industrial customers, integration of dispersed energy, energy storage technologies. The sale of energy and heat is one of our core activities. However, we see huge potential in providing additional services on this market. For example, smart home, prosumer devices, smart heating control, smart city lighting, Internet of Things, subscription-based energy infrastructure. We, as the PMO, took on the following challenge: to create better standards in new business project management. These should be flexible, agile, enable fast time to market, and minimize high levels of risk. Competence and organization culture development. We want our PMO to play a key business role in our organization. In order to achieve this, we need to constantly develop the competencies of both our core and project teams. We've carried out a deep structural and process transformation in Tauron Group's project investments. The transformation itself is a long and complex process, but we want to go even further. In the upcoming years, we will introduce a clear-cut career path for people involved in project management. We will be working on this with HR in order to establish a transparent career path, starting from project support through project managers all the way to program directors. We have also planned further investments in training programs, such as the Project Management Academy, and other forms of competence development in this field. We're particularly focused on soft competencies and program management. We also want to continue supporting the project managers community and keep encouraging a culture of partnership, openness, and experience sharing in our organization. We'd like to offer project managers a wide range of possibilities to develop their competencies. We will include the role of a project manager in Tauron Group's competence model and implement a better PMO training offer for project managers and their superiors.
As a member of Tauron Group Board, I'd like to begin by thanking you for this nomination. We are honored to be named alongside such a distinguished international group of companies. When implementing the PMO in Tauron, we intentionally choose a path of development where we always actively seek the potential for boosting group's agility in successful project implementation. To me, the key function of our PMO is support for broadly defined business growth, which positions the PMO among the strategic functions in our organization. The commitment, passion, and proactivity of the whole team have led us to create a functioning, comprehensive portfolio, program, and project management that actually makes work easier, including clear strategy, processes, tools, and support organization. This approach has made the PMO a true partner for the group's board in formulating and implementing the investment strategy, going far beyond a typical level of commitment encouraged in PMO's most organizations. Consequently, our PMO is more than a project management method. It's a way to create long-term value.